Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video, and in this one I am using a whole sheet of transparency as a background for my page. So I'm playing with one of the pattern play packs here from Dina. I think this was the first release of transparencies, I think. This circly one, it won't be any surprise. I love circles. Who doesn't love circles? I don't think there's an art journaler out there that doesn't like circles, but this one is one of my favourites. I've used it ever such a lot, but never taken the whole sheet and just stuck it straight in my journal, which is what I'm going to do today. So I'm just trimming it down, and instead of it having a straight edge, I'm cutting around the circles just so that it's got a softer finish to it. And then I've flipped it over so that I'm working on the reverse side, and I'm just starting to add some colour to some of the circles. Now, of course, I'm going to be using rainbow colours. It wouldn't be right if I wasn't, would it? Something would be wrong. Starting off with ruby, and this is tangerine, and then just the usual ones. So the ones that I use: ruby, tangerine, lemon, lime, turquoise. Then I think I use orchid and blackberry. Any colours will work, really. You could do all colours in the same colour family. Wouldn't necessarily have to be rainbow colours, but I do like to use that splash of bright colour. It makes me happy, so why not? So you can see I'm just working my way through and adding those colours in. Yes, I did just wipe all that paint away. Should have used it, shouldn't I, on something? Sometimes I remember to do that and sometimes I don't. So yeah, if you spotted that, oopsie. I am kind of grouping these colours together, but my intention is to leave some of the circles with no colour in at all, just so that you can still see the page behind. So once I've added all these colours and allowed it to dry, I mean, you can dry these with a heat tool. You do have to be very careful. Obviously, it's a plastic, isn't it? So if it gets too hot, it will buckle and it will alter the shape of the transparency. So you do need to be a little bit careful. You can encourage them to dry with a heat tool though. So don't put it too close and keep it moving, and then that shouldn't be too much of a problem. So that was orchid. This last one is blackberry. So I'm washing my brush in between, just giving it a little dry on that piece of kitchen towel at the side, just to take away the excess water from my brush, because I want the paint to be nice and opaque. So then I'm using a whole other sheet of collage paper. This, I think, is from one of Dina's more recent sets. I'm so sorry, I don't know which one it is. I kind of, when I get them after I've used them, I just stick them all in a folder together, so I don't keep the collage papers in their original packaging. So some matte medium to stick that down, plenty of that, because as you know, the pages in the large craft journal are very thirsty and just seem to soak up whatever medium you put on there. It just drinks it up. And then what I like about this is that you can see that text through the holes, the circles rather, sorry, that I haven't added any paint to. So because the paint was wet, I'm just using some of that to work as a glue. So I've also attached it in place using the Tim Holtz Tiny Attacher. That was purely just because the paint was still a little bit damp and I knew that would work quite well. So this is the Scribbly Bird stamp set from Dina Wakley, and I'm just kind of working out where I want these birds to go on my page, and then I'm going to stamp them onto some white cardstock. So the reason I'm going with white is because that works as a really good contrast with the background, with the bright colours and the very bold mark making that's there with the letters underneath the transparency. So yeah, stamping them on using black archival ink. I've chosen quite big birds initially, and then I did stamp this set of little birds, but you can imagine that was really fiddly to cut out, and I just thought, no, can't be bothered with that, and it's too tiny, it got lost on the page. So I did end up stamping a larger image on there, which worked better. So my favourite activity, as you know, is cutting out. Just cutting these birds out. I've got some fabulous scissors from Holtz. They are really, really lovely to use, tonic scissors. And I'm just using my double-sided sellotape, oh my goodness, double-sided tape dispenser to stick the birds onto the transparency. Obviously, it would have worked with ultra thick gel medium from Dina or glue stick, but it was just kind of what was there. And so often for me, whatever's at hand is what ends up getting used. So then I just wanted to bring a bit more white to the page because, like I said, there's a lot of black. It's quite dark, even though there's those bright colours. So using my dotty stamp with some white paint was a great way to bring a little bit of white to the page too. White splatters would have worked just as well, but obviously you'd have had to leave those to dry for a lot longer. So then I'm using a phrase from the stamp set. I think it's Everyone is Welcome. And I've used some embossing medium, and then I'm tipping on some black embossing powder. This also works really well if you emboss onto black card and use white powder, then you've got almost got your quote in reverse. That looks really nice too. I think that one smudged, so I went in and did it again. Sometimes these things happen, don't they? That's just how it is. That was better. I think I probably had just re-inked my embossing pad and it had just smudged a little bit. So we rise by lifting others. So true. So once I've heat set that, then I cut it out, stick it in place. And that is pretty much it for this page. So it was quite a fun page to do. Oh, I did just stamp some circles on there as well because I wanted to bring more contrast and white to that page. Really easy, just using a whole sheet of collage paper, a whole sheet of transparency. You can create quite an impactful image in your art journal. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.